Hello there survivors, welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm going to show you how to build this modern A-Frame Tek base in ARK Survival Ascended. I built it on Extinction, but of course you can build it anywhere. You need a decent amount of space, but not too much. It's not a giant build. You definitely don't need any mods to build this. You can easily build this just with the structures that are in the game, but to get the nicest look you might at least want to consider using custom cosmetics. There's some free options like the modern custom cosmetics available that look really good. If you want to spice it up a little bit more, you can use the premium quantum custom cosmetics, which also adds skins for your structures themselves, for your crafting tables, etc. But if you don't want to use any custom cosmetic, just painting the build will already really change the look. The reason why I definitely would consider using custom cosmetics is because there's no really good clear windows in the base game itself. I personally always use ARK Textures Remastered for my windows. Of course, that is a proper mod, so definitely if you're working on official, you can't use that. But there's definitely enough custom cosmetic options available to use, like those modern structures. So as I always say, take a look in the mod menu, select custom cosmetics and browse through the ones that you think you like. For this one, modern custom cosmetics is really good, or Architecture's Paradise. Both of them have amazing looking modern structures and amazing looking glass textures. As always, if you enjoy these build tutorials and you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, leave a like, and let's get into the build. Okay, of course, as always, we want to start out with our foundations, and this is about the space that you need, and you will have to decide, of course, especially for the side factor, where do you want to have your entrance. Technically, you could have them on both sides. I think on the example I built, mine was actually on this side, but of course, for this place, it would make more sense to be right here on this side of the building. For the sizes, the main part, the A-frame part, is going to be 16 wide by 20 long. So 16 by 20, and that's the square that we want to make. And then the side addition is going to be the middle 8. So basically what you do is you go in by 6 and then you start adding them, and then it is a 13 long extension and then making it 8 wide. And then on the side where you want to have your entrance, after one foundation, you want to leave 6 foundations open, because here we want to make sure that we can snap in a cellar door gate. And then what we want to do is we want to add 2 quarter foundations there and 2 quarter foundations right here. Then we can continue our foundation with this. It just means that we have 5 foundations here in the middle. And if we take out the behemoth cellar door and we switch it to the cellar door or garage door variation, this is exactly big enough for a nice entrance. So that's why we want to have the foundations like this. And then of course you can fill in both foundations completely. So the 16 by 20 as well as this 13 by 8, where you just want to go around and fill them in with foundations all the way through. Nice and simple. You should hopefully be able to find some spots where you can just place down the whole foundations without any issues. But of course, we all know ARK, and if you don't find the right spot where it's flat enough to actually place this all down, you could of course always go for some pillars and then ceilings method. It will add a little bit more structures to your build. However, I don't believe that you'll hit the limit with this build. It isn't that big, so you should probably be fine. But of course, it's always preferable to actually go for the just foundation build, because, I mean, it just makes it a little bit easier, and dinos tend to behave better on foundations than they do on ceilings as well. They don't seem to sink through them as much. But yeah, for now, we just want to keep filling in this entire build, which, I mean, it's still decent size, but it's definitely not as big as some of my other builds, which should make this a good option if you're just trying to build something yeah, maybe not too crazy, or you're in official settings where you can't even go too big. Then this should be a decent option, and it will still offer you plenty of space on the inside and a really cool looking design, in my opinion. So yeah, there we go. Just filling in the foundations all the way through, just like so. But at least then after this, we've got all the foundations out of the way, and we won't be needing any more of them. So that does save us a little bit of changing back and forth from structures. So yeah, we'll just go around just like this and fill in the last remaining ones just like this all the way through to the other side. There we go. And then the last bits here in the middle too, and then we've got a nice big foundation to get started with. This is going to be the entire build. As you can see, that's a decent amount of space. Okay, to start the A-frame, we're going to start on the side where we have nothing connected at all. This is where we want to take out our roofs. We want to place one right here at the end, and we want to extend it by one on the outside as well. Now, counting from the one that is connected to the foundation, this is going to go up by 8 in total. So this is 4, this is 6, and then this is 8, which should be exactly the middle of this part of the build. Then, of course, we want to add in the other ones on the outside as well. That's going to be a little overhang on the outside to just kind of create a more interesting shape in general. Then we want to take this out by 4 wider. And of course, we want to also connect them here on the outside all the way into the ground for a nicer look. Then this over here is where we want to go up by 1 again. So in total, we should have a gap of 4 before we bring up another support beam, basically. And that one is also going up 8 in total. So it should line up with the other structures that we've placed so far. And then we can actually also connect them here at the top. Then we want to go out by 2. Then there's going to be another of these support beams. So this time the gap is just 2 all the way back down here, of course, connecting them into the ground. And then the first layer we also want to connect up like this. Then there's going to be another gap of 2. Again, the same thing. We fill in everything below. We can bring up another one of these supports all the way 8 high so that it lines up with the previous ones, and we can connect them up again. So now we should have 2 of these. We're going to do another gap of 2 before we bring in one more of these supports, just like this. Again, connecting them to the foundation, connecting them into the ground, and having this part connected like this. Then we can bring it out by 4. Also, of course, we're again here on the outside, and then we've reached the other side of the build. So again, we want to have an overhang of 1 on the outside. We can bring up these structures like so. And then, of course, once again, we want to bring up this by 8 in total, just as high as the rest, and connect it all back up to each other, just like so. And there we go. That is the, the frame for the A-frame for this side done. Of course, we'll add a little bit more details than just this. Starting off with the support beams, we want to add another layer here on the corner to follow the same shape, and this is going to create some beams that are going to appear to be holding up the structure. So this is going to go 1 wall lower than the other roof, just like this. And we want to do these for each of the supporting beams that we've just kind of started already. So we're just going to follow the same shape. Again, it's going to be 1 shorter on each side. We'll just bring these up all the way, just like this. There we go. And as I said, we're going to do this for each of these ones, because that's going to kind of make it look like the build is actually properly being supported, instead of just giant roof magically standing up tall. We don't need it, but it just adds a lot more character and it looks a lot better for your build in general. So yeah, we want to go around the whole side and add all of these in, just like that. Then the other side. First of all, we're going to start by just adding in this layer at the top all the way through to the other side to get the A-frame started. And then here at the end, we can actually bring the last two all the way down. Now, this should line up with the foundations if we placed everything correctly, just like this. There we go. So that should be similar as the other side. Of course, this one at the bottom, we can fill in all the way across. These ones as well. And then this should be the other support beam going up, connecting and lining up with the other one on the other side, just like this. So again, that should be an opening, all lining up nicely. Then on this corner, we can start doing the same, adding in these roofs, just like that. In my case, the train is not allowing this one, but yeah, just the same all the way across. And then we can add in the first layer here at the bottom too. And then, of course, this one we're going to take up as nice support beam like that. And then the last two, of course, we're also going to bring down just like this to connect back up to the main structure. There we go. So this should be the A-frame taking shape. And then here on the inside, we also want to make sure that we connect up these support beams. Now, the ones on the end are going to be simple. We can just fully build these in. The same thing here on this side. We can just fully build this one all the way through to the other end. Just like that. And then, of course, here we're also going to be adding in more support beams all the way up to the top where they should meet each other. And then, of course, here we can do the same thing once more, adding in these supported beams for A-frame, just like that. Then, of course, in the middle, we have the open section. This is going to connect to this side. So what we want to do is only add in one of these right over here, but not any more than that. Then we want to take out those sloped walls. And what we're going to do next is we're going to just go around these support beams, and we're going to make sure that they're completely filled in so that they will actually look like proper beams supporting the A-frame, like this. And yeah, again, we kind of just want to do this for all of the support beams. Make sure to, of course, do this on both sides. And yeah, that's gonna be the same thing for pretty much all of them, except, of course, these ones that are going short. We'll have to do something slightly different for those. But for now, we can just go around and fill them in all the way like this. So yeah, this we want to do for these ones here at the front, these ones in the middle, and at the back. Just leave this last part open for now. So let's go do that, and I'll see you back after we've done that. There we go. So this is how you end this for now. We'll just leave it at that. But that should bring us with some nice supports for the A-frame, which is already starting to look strong. And yeah, starting to come together already quite nicely. We want to take out our tech gateways, and right in the middle, we want to make sure to add them on both ends. This is just going to be kind of an entrance to both sides of your A-frame, you know, because that's for the dinos. This is going to be normal entrances, although some dinos will still be able to fit through as well, of course. And then right over here, we actually also want to add in a dino gate, because we're going to make that into a separate room, so kind of splitting off these areas a little bit. Then here on the end, we're going to add in a layer of these slope walls on the outside of the A-frame, going up just like this. Now we should be up the same height as the gate. We want to make sure that we go one higher, so it's one from the top of this structure that we've already made for the A-frame, just like that, as a nice little detail. And we want to make sure that we do that, of course, on both sides of the builds. So we'll also be bringing up this slowly but surely and making sure that we end it one before it touches the top of the A-frame there. Then it's time to give shape to this side building. So we're going to start here with some roofs on the corner. Again, also have one overlap on the outside or overhang. And we're going to go up by 6 in total. Like this. There we go. This should be one higher basically than your gateway. And then we can go into some ceilings and connect back up to the main structure. Just going across like so, which should line up with the little detail that we just added. And should end right here. And then we can go over to the other side and connect it up there as well. Of course, here on the other side of the building, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to add 2 to have a little overhang. We also want to make sure to make this go into the ground at both ends too. And then, of course, this one is also going to be 6 high in total. Same height as on the other side. Just like that. And then, of course, we can start connecting the ceilings, which then again should line back up with the other ones that we've already placed down just over here. There we go. Then here at the end, we want to add in these ceilings to connect the 2 of them, just like this. And here we want to add in another layer. So there's 3 ceilings from the A-frame going in. And from the sides, we also want to add in another layer of ceilings like that. And another layer just like this on the other side. So basically creating this little skylight. We're actually going to keep this as a skylight as well. So I would add some beams around it. Now, if you're not going to skin them, I would definitely use metal beams, because I think the shape of them are a little bit nicer. But if you are going to skin them, you can still use tech or pretty much any material really, if you're going to add skins anyway, because they will change the way they look as well. And then, of course, you can take out greenhouse glass, or you can just place down ceilings and skin them to any custom cosmetic that you want. I'm using ARK Structures Remastered, which has the borderless glass variant, and that looks just really, really nice. But of course, as I said in the intro, that's a proper mod. So yeah, if you're going to use custom cosmetics, just use any ceiling that you're going to skin it to, or use greenhouse glass from normal ARK to get a similar look. But yeah, this is just very, very clean. So I can definitely recommend playing with this mod if you like building. All right, here at the end, we're also going to be creating some supports for these sides. So we can create these slope walls going up at the side, just like that. We're going to create the same one right over here, all the way up until we meet the ceilings, just like that. Then, of course, we can add in or supports here, just like we did for the A-frame. The other side, of course, is going to have one as well. So we just want to make sure that we connect these roofs up. And then actually here in the middle, we want to also make one, but this one is going to be too wide. So it's precisely in the middle of this structure. And yeah, you just want to take this up all the way to the top of the roof, like so. Of course, here on the outside, we want to make sure that we also have these filled in, connecting all the way up to the ceilings. And then, of course, for all of these, we want to make sure that we fill in the sides with slope walls, just as we've done before, to create the look of some proper support beams going up. And yeah, kind of holding this whole structure standing. So that's what we'll do. Fill in the sides of these. And then also, of course, for this one in the middle, the same principle, adding in these slope walls along the sides all the way up until we reach the ceilings. And then we have added some, yeah, nice supports, a nice design language that continues throughout the whole build, also to this side addition, and already starting to take shape nicely. All right, then we'll work on this side. We actually want to have pillars and beams around the side of this gate that we have. So first the pillars, then the beams, just like this, to make sure, yeah, that we have it nicely surrounded like that. Then for this side, we want to make sure that at the bottom of the foundations, we continue the roofs. And at the top of the ceiling, we also want one layer of roofs like this. Now we can almost start filling in the windows, but first we have some extra pillars to place. So first of all, we want to have a pillar going up, one from the gates here, just to add a little bit of extra supports and nice design. Then we'll have a gap of 2 and have another pillar go up. Same thing over here. Of course, we're going to repeat that choice right over here as well. So one over there, gap of 2, one over here, then one next to the gate, just like this, and a gap of 2 and another one. And then of course at this end we want the same thing, just as, yeah, a nice way to break up the windows, add some visual supports. Of course the structure doesn't need it, but it just looks a little bit nicer this way. Then especially if you want to skin these structures, what is a nice little touch is actually adding some ceilings along the side like this, because then you can skin that to the same texture and it will give this really clean look to your structure. Of course, you definitely don't need these structures, but again, if you're gonna skin them, it just makes it a clean look all the way around. And then of course, in front of the entrances, you probably want to add in some stairs so that you can easily reach the doorways. We'll do the same thing here on the other side. Make sure that if you're going to skin them, we have these textures going all the way across, because, well, yeah, you can skin them and they will look way cleaner, like in the example from the intro. And once we do the tour, I'll show you exactly what the change is, because of course your ceilings might look quite differently texture-wise than this one on the side. So we want to add in those, and then of course the stairs in front of our doorways. Also, we can now add in the gates. I wouldn't do the internal gates unless you really want to, but at least once on the outside, we want to give some proper gates. And then for the side structure, the same thing kind of applies. If you want the proper clean look, you kind of just want to expand the walls around them, just because then you can get a nice clean border of your build. And in front of this big gate, I would personally add in some ramps. So yeah, we just kind of want to make sure that we have an easy way to get our tames in and out like this. And of course the trick for the walls also applies to the other side, just if you want a little bit of a cleaner design going all the way through. This is the way to go, because yeah, it just gives a really nice clean look to all the sides of the building. But yeah, definitely not needed, just a nice extra little touch. Okay, first off, we're going to take out our glass roofs, whether that's greenhouse glass, any roof that you're going to skin with the custom cosmetic, or if you're using mods like me, the nice borderless glass from ARK Structures Remastered. And we can start filling in these windows like so. And these will just make sure that they provide plenty of light to the inside of your build, which I always really like. And yeah, and whether you're using cosmetics or you're using these structures, they also will be a little bit stronger. Of course, the downside from using actual greenhouse glass is that it's not the strongest structure to use. So yeah, might not want that around. But yeah, with custom cosmetics, you can build it out of metal or tech and still make it very strong. So yeah, we want to fill in these two big windows on the side of our A-frame, just like so, all the way up. So again, we're gonna have a bunch of these proper big windows. I really like the look of that, getting in a lot of natural light. Here at the top, we actually want to make sure that we connect in one more layer of the normal roofs, just like this. And then at this side of the A-frame, obviously we're gonna also fill in all the gaps with some nice glass roofs to make some big windows on this side, and finish the A-frame shape and making sure that you're all secure, but you also get in a decent and healthy amount of natural light into your build, which still is the best way to light up your builds, to be honest. So there we go. We're just going to go around, fill in all these different sections. Just like that. This one also. All the way up to the top, just like this. And then the last one over here, just filling it in all the way through to the end, just like this. There we go. And that is one roof done. All right, and then of course we want to start filling in some of these walls with glass as well. Same thing applies. You can use greenhouse glass. You can use any wall to skin with a custom cosmetic. Or if you're using mods, you can use some modded glass like the Architect Structures Remastered glass that I'm using right now to just fill in all of these different sections, just like this. And then of course we're taking out those sloped glass walls to fill in these remaining ones. And then we get a really nice clean look for the side of our structure that I personally always really like. Again, the big windows, I'm a big fan of getting all that light in there and just being able to see in and outside. Although with Architect Structures Remastered, you can also change the opacity of the glass on either side. So you can make it so that you can only look in or you can only look out, which actually can be quite cool as well. But yeah, on the other side, of course, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just be filling in all of the glass walls here to finish this A-frame and making sure that we're all nice and cozy inside. Of course, we don't want any open walls left, so just like this. And then of course filling in the gaps, the slope walls all the way around the A-frame. There we go. And then of course, don't forget, we actually want an internal wall here. Of course, this one is technically optional. If you do not want to divide the room up, you don't have to. I certainly would recommend it. We leave these ones open because we're going to have a top floor as well. But for the rest of these, we kind of want to just wall it in like so. Fill in these all the way until the end. There we go. And then of course, we'll take out the slope walls to make sure that this is all nicely filled in, except the top two layers. Just like this. So that's nicely closed in as well. And then of course for this section, well, this wall is going to be quite easy. Again, it's also just filling in your glass textures all the way. Then we can go across like this. Keep filling in these walls just like this. Adding in our slope walls to follow the shape that we added, which just adds a little bit more interest. Then we can continue with our walls going across the surface just like so. And then of course here again we're going to go follow the shape that we added to the building, just as with the A-frame. And then the last pieces will be filled in with our slope walls, creating a nice big window on this side where you'll have plenty of views and nice natural light coming in. Then the other side, of course, is going to be slightly more complicated, but the start of it is just the same. We'll start filling in some of these walls, following the shape of the build. But then we'll need some quarter glass walls to kind of fill around the shape of the gate. So yeah, we want to fill these ones in on this side. And on the other side, the same thing goes. We'll have a wall of these quarter wall glass walls filling it in. And then, of course, the rest we can just fill in like normal. Some slope walls to fill in these gaps. Slope walled up here. And then we can once again enter our full glass walls just like so. And following the shape of the structure here to make sure that we fill in all of the gaps. So the last ones that we need is some slope walls, of course, here. Again, following the shape that we already created. And there we go. We have the side addition filled in too. So now we have pretty much the whole exterior done. You have this nice big hall for your dinos. You got another major hall for crafting, for all your storage. Your dinos can still easily enter. And now we're going to work on finishing the interior up a little bit and adding in a staircase to the next layer. What I always like to do for these ones, you kind of want to wall these up, but just in case you need the extra space, you might as well use some secret walls. Although not all cosmetics work on secret walls, so you might want to change them into normal walls in that case. But just in case you need this extra little hidden space, it's always good to just use these. And then, of course, we're going to do that for all of these sections on the side of our A-frame. And then here over as well, just because it kind of makes it a little bit easier to decorate, because you have now a wall to place things against instead of having the slope everywhere. Yeah, just easier to work with this way. This one we want to keep pretty open space for our dinos, but what we will do is we'll take out the stairs, and right here in the middle we want to make sure that we add the stairway in. There's going to be a 5 high staircase, just so that you still have plenty of room for your tames. And then this is where we can add in the ceilings to make a new layer. So first of all, we're going to just continue this. So it's not going to be too high right here. Little overlook over your dinos, but that's just what it is. Then what we actually want to do is we want to make sure that we connect this structure up to the rest of that roof. So you can actually continue this down one further. And yeah, then you can fill in this entire layer to create another layer of the A-frame. So yeah, what I personally would have is your bedroom here. So your respawn points, maybe a little bit of like personal storage to quickly drop off some of your stuff, or chibis or your personal tames in a cryo fridge. Stuff like that is probably what I would have up here. You don't need an awful lot of space up here, but it's still big enough to have some of those personal belongings or extra things that you just couldn't quite fit in the main bigger halls downstairs. And one of the reasons that we have the ceiling so high is that means that the bigger tames, if you want to have them inside, they should fit, but they will also have a little bit more space to turn around, because you can also use a part of your main A-frame, because even Karchas and Gigas can fit underneath this part now. So once we fill this hole in, it means that we're pretty far, of course, for this other one. We want to make sure that we do the same thing at the ceiling, connect them up together, and then close in the sides with your slope walls. And then we want to take out our tech railings, or just railings, depending on whether you're skin or not, or you want to have the tech look or not. We can fill in that little thing to make it safe, and of course along the sides of the staircase too, to make sure that you're all safe going up and down the stairs. And yeah, there we go. That is pretty much the whole structure. So you have a lot of room on the inside to do with as you please. It's a nice sizable A-frame, but not too giant that it's like impossible to build. It's still reasonably easy to get this done, but it does look really cool. And then of course you can keep it like this. You can add some paint to get some really cool designs, or you can do what I did and use some custom cosmetics to change the look. And this is what the finished product can look like. Obviously, I used skins. As I said, I've used the modern custom cosmetics, as well as some of the premium quantum custom cosmetics. And my glass, I mentioned that before, is from Architect Structures Remastered, which is a proper mod, not a cosmetic. You can see this is the reason why we want those walls around, because you can then do the white clean wall skins all the way around. I've skinned the pillars to the black skin from the modern structures, which look really good. And then these walls are actually, or these roofs are the premium custom cosmetic, the quantum one. Although I do think there's probably options in the free options as well. So yeah, you can definitely do this without having to pay any other custom cosmetics. But you can see it really transforms the look into something very cool and modern looking. Yeah, let's take a little look inside for some inspiration on how you could use it. This is kind of like a little bit of crafting and storage. We have a little kitchen area going on here with the grill, with the cooker, some water reservoir. This is all using the quantum custom cosmetic skin, which has crafting stations, as you can see. Then this is for the RR mod. It's just a travel station that is way smaller than the vanilla one. Bookcases for blueprints, teleporter, some fridges, and some storage in here in this little section. Then we got the main section with the replicator. We've got some storage going on here. The new Mega Lab actually also already has a skin in the quantum custom cosmetics, so you can make it look a little bit more modern instead of the wasteland vibes. We got the steam forge here. We got the bio grinder. This has also got a skin, but that does take away the animation because it is still on. but for some reason it doesn't move when it is skinned, which is unfortunate, but maybe that will get fixed in the future. And then we also have the grinder here with a cool skin. As you can see, you can easily fit a Giga inside. We've got some cryos here, medium teleporter, feeding trough, other dino related things. As I said, this would probably be used for breeding and dinos, so that's why you want to keep it relatively clean. Got some cam benches up here as well as the smithy, and then just some extra storage, some personal cryos as I said, and then the sleeping pods and some lounging areas to be up here. But yeah, just a kind of nice clean aesthetic. I really like these bays. I also added in some extra thin pillars around and beams just to create these light bars using the modern custom cosmetics, which is a nice little touch if you use the same custom cosmetics. They have these skins for thin pillars which kind of look like lights. So yeah, it's a nice little way to add some extra detail to the place. But yeah, that is it. That is the easy all-in-one A-frame tech base that you can now build yourself as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this build tutorial. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then hopefully I'll see you around in the next video. Goodbye.